Greetings and salutations, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Today I've got some stuff going on with the LBL and some cryptid canine research. This is not the upload that I wanted to put out today because what I've got cooking is a lot of paperwork and a lot of investigation sitting on my desk, and I'm hoping to have it out by Saturday by the latest. I'd like to get it out tomorrow. It's Dogman related, Native American lore with possibly some Native American cult lore. College studies have been done, and if this is 100% accurate, then it is some definite scary shit. And I have a little bit of OCD, so I want it to come out perfectly. So like I said, hopefully by the latest Saturday. Today it's just going to be a quick but very cool upload. Let's get on to the links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of these links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page to help raise some money for my nerve decompression surgery, which I'll be having December 3rd. I hope that I don't get another subscriber telling me I'm beating a dead horse, because I had to tell that subscriber to scratch ass, and if he didn't like it, unsubscribe. Anyway, I started a GoFundMe page to help raise some money for my surgery that I'm having December 3rd. Last night I was $400 short of what was needed with the donations from you guys and what I had saved up. I am $190 short of what I need. So, wow. Thank you. Gratitude. Thanksgiving. Amazing. Thank you for everybody who has donated, and thank you for all of your prayers and kindness, well wishes, everything. I have a lot to be thankful for today. That link is in the description below. Now, I've taken enough of your time, and I don't want to get accused of beating a dead horse, and I hope you're listening to this one, and you know who you are, because that was douchey. Let's get on with this Dogman and LBL encounters, shall we? The Beast in the LBL. I'll admit, when I first heard the stories about the Beast in the LBL, I was skeptical. I remember thinking it was just another Bigfoot story that was told as entertainment around the campfires for those camping there. But as I read more accounts of those who had seen the creature, it became obvious that this was something much more sinister than a Bigfoot. Now, I'm not saying one way or another there's a Bigfoot that exists in LBL, but I do know if any of the stories of the Beast of LBL are true, it will make Bigfoot seem like a sissy in comparison. This frightens me because there appears to be some evidence to back up the claims of this creature's existence. The creature itself is typically said to look rather like a bipedal wolf, standing around 7 feet tall and sporting clawed hands, powerful jaws with wicked teeth, glowing red eyes, and cloaked in a rotten stench. The area and its surrounding region have long held such dark legends from before the time of the first settlers to trickle into western Kentucky. Some of the first Europeans in the region were French fur trappers and hunters who claimed that the forests were prowled by a massive beast, half man and half wolf, which would howl in the night and leave the mutated carcasses of animals in its wake. This monstrous entity that they called the Loup de Gros. When the settlers began to come to the region, they are said to have been plagued by the same large predator which lurked in the shadows, killing and maiming their livestock, with witnesses saying the culprit was A hairy, wolf-like beast on two legs which unleashed blood-curdling howls and shrieks into the night. The sightings of the monster were still frequent throughout the beginning of the 20th century. There have seemingly been quite a lot of alleged encounters with the beast of the LBL, even up into modern times. There are several more stories that I've heard about this Dogman in the LBL. There were groups of Boy Scouts that had seen it, several more campers, fishermen, and boaters who had seen it from the safety of their boats, floating in some of the many bays that have touched upon the shoreline. Hikers and bikers have heard the howling and have seen something stalking them while on the rural trails, hiding among the trees and foliage. Hunters have come across deer carcasses that have been brutally torn apart. In the meantime, others have come forward with their own experiences with this fierce, elusive beast, and reports of feelings of being watched, hearing howls, and coming across badly mauled carcasses. All of them agreed that this is no Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Some of the most recent sightings have occurred in Labor Day of 2017, near the area of Lake Barkley State Park. The witness described the creature to be approximately 7 to 7.5 feet tall and 3 feet wide, stocky with matted medium brown hair. She first saw the deer break brush and run alongside her vehicle, quickly dashing in front of her van and across the road. She originally mistook the creature for a tree or a bush, but realized the creature was chasing behind the deer. She said as it passed right outside the driver's side window, it seemed to have a surprised look on its eyes. The creature was so close to the vehicle she could have reached out and touched it. The creature didn't cross in front of her after the deer, and it only lasted for a couple of seconds. She could no longer see it as soon as it was out of her headlights. Her husband was also in the vehicle, but only her and her son saw it. The witness was very forthcoming and genuine about describing the sighting that her and her son had had that evening. Still, other reports from the 70s and 80s claim the creature stalked and brutally killed a family of 4. Another says a bow hunter was killed and torn apart by the same creature. Sometimes physical evidence is claimed, such as odd footprints, tufts of hair, and dugout nests that appear to have been slept in by something large. Almost all of these incidences occurring the Dogman came from the areas just north of Highway 6880. Some Bigfoot sightings have come from various areas nearby, but not in the area of the Dogman. Strange. A person who actually saw the Dogman gave a first-hand account of her experiences. She described the odor of the creature as the same as the others. She states that on May of 2012 near Wrangler's Camp in LBL. She's only spoken to one other person and does not want to reveal her name. She had hiked a short distance up a hill when she unexpectedly came fairly close to the beast sitting and watching her. It let out the most blood-curdling snarl she had ever heard. She stated she was frozen with terror and began praying. Finally, when it stood up, she described the beast as massive and around 7 foot tall with large canine teeth. Finally, the beast left in one direction and she ran as fast as she could in the other. She has never been back there since. It's obvious that there is enough evidence to believe that something is out there. Some of the stories of the beast date back to over 200 years. Some theorize the whole family of them inhabit hidden caves in the region. So what is the beast of the land between the lakes? Is it an actual Dogman, as some have claimed? No one really knows, but it remains an unsettling case of what might or might not be something very strange and dangerous indeed roaming in the wilderness of the land between the lakes. Part 2 of today's upload is just a little refresher course of some cryptid canines with a couple extra added. Wahila, location Alaska, Northwest Territories, North America. Also known as the Great White Wolf, it is a wolf-like canine, which is much larger and more heavily built than a timber wolf, possibly a surviving dire wolf. Ontarian giant wolf, location Ontario and general Great Lakes region, North America, very similar to the Wahila, probably the same species, is also pure white with a head and feet that are larger in proportion to its body than a normal wolf. Front quarters in both creatures are higher than the hind quarters. The Illinois dog-like creature, Illinois, a dog-like animal which has been sighted on and off in Illinois. Not a lot of information is known about this creature. The Shunkaworkin, Idaho, Montana, and neighboring regions. A hyena-like creature that is a major part of native folklore. The name means carrying off dogs. One was shot sometime before 77, and there is a photo of the beast. It is most likely a Hyenodon montanus, a creodent carnivore which has supposedly died out before the Philistine. Andean wolf, the Andes Mountains, South America. A wolf-like creature that has been reported from the Chilean Andes, probably a large relative of the Andean fox, which are not really foxes but a separate branch of the canines. Saharan wolf, Sahara Desert, Africa. A wolf-like creature seen in the Saharas, most probably misidentified of the African hunting dog, although it may be a separate subspecies. Salawa, Egypt. An odd creature which allegedly looks like an anteater jackal cross with square ears, a droopy nose, a puffy forked tail. A creature identical to the Salawa is known to the ancient Egyptians and represented the god Set. Set was considered a powerful and evil being, and the Salawa of today is no less malicious. Creatures mentioned in the ancient texts from the Middle East are also identical to the Salawa, possibly some kind of strange jackal-like animal. Bowawa, Senegal, Africa. A giant hyena mentioned in tribal lore, possibly surviving short-faced hyenas or a giant species of the spotted hyena. European wolf-like creatures, France, Switzerland, and Italy. Large wolf-like creatures, probably not giant wolves, but most likely the same as maulers, and the Erinathocene. Out-of-place hyenas, southern Europe. Striped and occasionally spotted hyenas have been sporadically reported through southern Europe, where they are supposedly extinct since the time of the Romans. Cave paintings and striped hyenas are known from France, and it's been proposed that there are a rampant population somewhere in the mountains of Europe. The Girt dog, Cumbria, England. The Girt dog was a dog-like creature which ravaged the Cumbrian countryside in 1810, killing many domesticated animals by cutting open their throats and drinking the blood. It is usually classed as the maulers, which are dealt with later, but are in a description. The Girt dog may in fact have been something quite different. It was said to be like a dog, but with a long, strong jaw, which could open nearly vertically, and stripes along the hindquarters. That is a perfect description of the thylacine, a marsupial wolf. Also, a traveling circus that went through the area mysteriously lost a thylacine, which they had. This, and the fact that it only drank the victim's blood and ate some of the organs, makes it possible that the Girt dog was the real Girt thylacine. Thylacine, Tasmania, and New South Wales, Australia. A marsupial wolf, thylacines are supposedly wiped out in the early 1900s. However, they've been seen sporadically in the Cradle Mountains of Tasmania, and even more remarkable, is they have been seen on mainland Australia, where they died out thousands of years ago. It is possible that the thylacines, along with many other rare marsupials, were introduced to a wildlife refuge there during the 1800s. Papua New Guinea, dog-like animal. A dog-like creature which resembles the thylacine immensely, probably an isolated population in the Papua New Guinea mountains. The horned jackal, Sri Lanka. An ominous report of the horned jackal comes from Sri Lanka, and there is also mention of horned jackals in South Africa tribal lore. Although the thought of a horned canine seems dubious, it is by no means impossible or even improbable for horns to evolve in species of canine. It remains to be seen if anything will ever be made of these reports, however. Wow. All right. Like I said, guys, this is not the upload that I wanted to put out today. I went to the gun range and I stayed there for about a half an hour. It was cold as hell, which my feet were killing me. So I was not about to stay out any longer than I literally probably shot 50 rounds and then just left. I was like, I'm done. And I've been working on the upload that I have planned for later on this weekend. But because it's Thanksgiving and because this is part of my therapy, I felt it necessary that I put something out. Something that hasn't been heard. Those two encounters from the LBL are very interesting. First, I have never really, I've been fascinated with Sasquatch when I was younger, but I really didn't know there was accounts of Sasquatch in the LBL area, which is kind of interesting to me, because that means that the Dogman and the Sasquatch have crossed paths. Also, I wanted to do a little bit more of the canine cryptid. I'm fascinated by how many unidentified canines there are out there, which then become a cryptid because they have not been identified by science yet, which is just purely amazing to me, and the horned jackal, I'm almost thinking like a boar, like their canines got too large for their mouth and stick out on the side, which kind of reminds me of the wahila, very creepy looking creature. That looks like a wild boar, but in the picture it literally does look like a wild boar. But when they did the DNA testing, it tested for canine chromosomes. Real cool. Anyway, sorry for some of the mispronunciations in tonight. I get looking at them and I'm like, dirt. I have like a mind freeze. And I know that sometimes I say words wrong a lot, like Illinois, but tonight I didn't say it wrong. Thylacine, I'm notorious for saying words wrong, and I apologize. But, everyone does things that are wrong. Nobody's perfect, so piss off. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Happy Thanksgiving, and with that, I'm going to bid you farewell.